Before the 1971 Cyclones took the field, Coach Johnny Majors outlined his goals. Enter the Big 8 Conference race undefeated. Finish in the upper division of the Big 8. Win the most games of any Iowa State team in modern history. And go to a postseason bowl game for the first time ever. To accomplish their goals, the Cyclones put their chips on number 15, senior quarterback Dean Carlson. The former junior college All-America passed and ran the Cyclone offensive machine to new school marks in virtually all statistical categories. Carlson teamed with number 12, quarterback turned tailback George Amundsen, for over 3,400 yards rushing and passing and 39 touchdowns. Amundsen, a 6'3", 215-pound junior from Aberdeen, South Dakota, shattered nearly every ISU rushing and scoring record. George was deadly with the halfback option pass, completing 11 of 23, including 4 for touchdowns. The Cyclone rushing attack boasted other stars, like fullback Dennis McDonald, voted the squad's most improved player. The 202-pound senior averaged 4 1/2 yards per carry, but Denny's crunching blocks were even more appreciated. McDonald's backup man, 6'5", 225-pound Larry Marquardt, also flashed to the fore. As Amundsen said week after week, thank that offensive line. Anchored by letterman Joe Marconi, Gary Murdoch, Bob Bellis, Mike Terrizzi, Ray Harm, and Dave Pittman, the trench fighters opened gaping holes to make the ground game go. And it repelled enemy pass rushes, giving Carlson time to throw. Dean's favorite targets, sophomore tight end Keith Krefley, converted from defensive cornerback during spring practice. The 216-pounder erased the rookie mark set by the great Otto Stowe 3 years earlier. And his 7 touchdown receptions surpassed another school record. Sophomore split end Ike Harris, a lanky 6'5", 210-pounder with great speed, Harris made a big target and became the bread and butter man on crucial third down plays. And flanker Willie Jones, the Valdosta, Georgia Flyer, displayed an uncanny ability to get to the ball. This one, a 37-yarder at Kansas State. When the offense couldn't punch it over, the shoe, senior Reggie Shoemake from Laurel, Mississippi, got the call. Reggie kicked the ball the longest, most accurately, and most often of any Cyclone place kicker in history. Defense was a question mark as the 71 season kicked off. Only 3 regulars returned from the 1970 squad. So with 8 new defensive starters, Iowa State went to work. "24 enemy passes were intercepted, despite an inexperienced secondary. This group of ball hawks improved every week. Opposing quarterbacks came under fire, often. Sack the Quarterback brigade was led by Harold Bassett. Converted from tackle to end to better utilize his quickness, Bassett responded brilliantly. He dumped quarterbacks and running backs 15 times for losses of 116 yards. The linebacker corps included first-year star Matt Blair, a strong 6'6", 220-pound junior who's tough to throw the ball over. Matt also led the team with 7 fumble recoveries. And Davenport linebacker Keith Schroeder, who was supposed to be too short, too small, and too slow to play big-time Big 8 football. But in his last 2 seasons, the stumpy senior co-captain nailed ball carriers an average of 18 times per game, a feat that earned him All-America mentions. In the secondary, Burlington junior John Schweizer. John led the team with 5 interceptions. And he gained regard as a tough tackler, like the day he showed Oklahoma's Joe Wiley what it's all about. As a kick returner, Schweizer was always a threat to break one. The Cyclones flew to California to meet the Aztecs of San Diego State. The week-long trip gave the squad a well-deserved chance to relax, as well as prepare for the game. But when the fun's over, Charger Stadium and San Diego State stand in the way of an unbeaten non-conference season. The Aztecs take an early lead on a field goal, but the Cyclones come storming back. Carlson to Krefli for 37 yards. From the San Diego 47, Amundsen throws. Even double coverage isn't enough. Krefli, 46 yards to the 1. Quarterback Brian Sipe, the Aztecs' all-time leading passer, is under heavy pressure, and Blair makes one of 5 Cyclone interceptions. Schweizer saves a touchdown. Carlson throws a pair to Krefli and becomes ISU's all-time career record holder for touchdown passes. And for good measure, this one to Willie Jones. With the game in the bag, Iowa State simply runs over the Aztecs. Goal 1 is accomplished. The Cyclones' second straight unbeaten non-conference season, extending their intersectional winning string to 10 games. Big 8 Conference, the best in the nation. And it was even better in '71. 3 teams ranked in the top 5 nationally much of the season. The Cyclones' first foe, powerful Colorado.
The big objective going into the Colorado game, which was the opening conference ball game for us in 1971, was for us to establish the confidence and the belief that we could win in the Big 8 Conference, the toughest conference in America today. We had won non-conference games before. We'd won a lot of them. We had shown that we could play winning football. We showed that we could play with enthusiasm and with pride. And a big hurdle, a big obstacle to overcome for us to prove that we could win in 1971 was to see that we could, how far had we traveled since Colorado of 1970.
And the Cyclones were in it all the way against the 5th-rated Buffaloes. Now they really believed. At Kansas State, the Cyclones put it together. Defensively and offensively, handing the Wildcats a 24-0 defeat, the first time they'd been shut out in 44 games. Carlson fires for Ike Harris. A super catch. He's loose. A 64-yard touchdown. Carlson again to Harris, this time on a post pattern to ice the victory. Homecoming 71. Kansas was the foe before a capacity crowd in Ames. And the underdog ranking didn't upset the Cyclones. The defense goes to work early, pinning the Jayhawks down. The offensive unit is ready too. Carlson to Krefli. It takes 4 Kansans to bring him down. Amundsen, a top-flight weight man and hurdler in track, puts it to use. Watch George after he gets inside the 20 on this one. A gaping hole for McDonald. A final, Iowa State 40, Kansas 24. The Cyclones took a 5-1 record to Norman, Oklahoma for a date with the number 2 ranked Sooners, who were sporting the greatest running attack in national collegiate history. The wide game with All-America halfback Greg Pruitt is throttled by Big Daddy Hunt. Pruitt spins off a Blair tackle but loses the ball, one of 7 fumble recoveries by the Cyclones during the day. Carlson sees the blitz coming and hits McDonald out of the backfield for 40 yards. Carlson on an option keeper for a touchdown. Oklahoma kicker John Carroll's boot is taken by Willie Jones at the 5. And look out. Now it's a foot race. Willie outruns 9-3 sprinter Everett Marshall, a 95-yard return. More than 67,000 fans packed Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska to watch the defending national champion and number 1 ranked Cornhuskers host Iowa State. The Cyclones played them tough, but didn't quite have the muscle to pull it off. Chances of a bowl bid didn't look good. The supreme test came a week later against Missouri. Could the Cyclones bounce back after losses to the nation's top two teams? Amundsen, behind an overpowering offensive line, answers the question with a 56-yard scamper on his first carry. His dive-off tackle puts Iowa State on top. The defense is also superb. One threat after another is thwarted. A pass for Henley is brilliantly intercepted by Dave McCurry. McDonald breaks a tackle and powers his way to the 3. Amundsen adds his second touchdown. The aerial game clicks too. Carlson fires for Krefli. Keith can be dangerous in the open field. A 54-yard play. The Cyclones win 45-17 and prove they can indeed come back. Now the stage was set for the Big 8 finale with Oklahoma State, with everything hanging in the balance. Like a victory could mean a bowl bid and assure a first division finish in the conference.
We knew that the Oklahoma State game was the most important game that we had ever played, and possibly in the history of the school. Even though we had final examinations that week, I could tell on Wednesday and Thursday during practice sessions that we were primed for an excellent performance. We played the greatest game possibly that an Iowa State team has ever played in the history of their school.
The final home game for 16 seniors who led the charge was about to become a memorable happening. OSU's fine tailback Bobby Cole fumbles on the first play from scrimmage. And look out. With only 22 seconds gone, Carlson unloads one for Ike Harris. He's got it. 49 yards. Touchdown. One bad note, though. The Cyclones lose 2 players on the conversion. Guard Mike Terizzi and kicker Reggie Shoemake, both with knee injuries. But the assault continues. Carlson hits Krefli. And Amundsen, running out of a power set, crashes across. The defense is unreal, too. It dumps Cowboy quarterback 6 times for a minus 70 yards. Everything is beautiful. Carlson's pass for Harris is deflected. Ike snares it anyhow. First and goal. Here comes Amundsen. Sheer strength carries him over the goal line. His 3rd TD of the day. His 4th TD of the afternoon. A new ISU record. Now George gets a chance to throw the ball. And Willie Jones makes a sensational catch. Carlson trips the scoreboard still another time with a strike to Krefli. Super defensive plays helped the Cyclones to their 2nd shutout of the season. The first time they've done that since 1964. Like Oklahoma State linebacker Ray Ennis said afterwards, they just blew us out of the tub. Iowa State breaks a flock of school records en route to a rousing 54-0 triumph. It was the happiest day ever for Johnny Majors, for his fine young staff, for the players, and for the fans. A winning season, the most victories in modern history, a First Division Big 8 finish, a top 20 ranking, and 6 players headed for All-Star games. But what about a bowl bid? Reporters were asked to be on hand in the press box at 6 p.m., the earliest time a team could be tendered a bowl game invitation. Then, Harrison Cole, executive director of the Sun Bowl Committee, made this formal announcement.
Lou, are you prepared to accept a bid to the Southwestern Sun Carnival Sun Bowl game?
I've been prepared for 6 months.
We will ask you.
Well, we will accept.
Thank you.
It's a great honor. We thank you so
We're
much.
very grateful to have you, sir.
Well, thank you. I'm certain John Majors and Dr. Parks and our school are real thrilled over this, and we'll come down and give you a real great show.
The first bowl bid ever culminates a rewarding and record-shattering season. Johnny Majors, proud and beaming, tells what it all means.
We have reached a lot of goals that we set out to attain. First, we wanted to win the championship. We need to get a little better to do that. But we were playing against the best competition that probably college football has ever seen. And the main thing is our football team continued to get better each week. And they continued to reach the goals that we wanted to set. If we couldn't reach a championship, we wanted to go to a bowl game. We wanted to play pride. We wanted to be a championship caliber football team in the Big 8 Conference. And our players and our captains and our seniors, you just can't imagine what kind of job they've done. They've never lost faith. And it's been a great pleasure to be associated with them. I'll tell you this, it's just been an unbelievable year.
Cyclone football has reached a lofty plateau. Next, the Big 8 Championship.